Gary, firstly I'd like to touch on the Brentford game in the midweek. What was your reaction to that?
I was delighted. I actually made sure at the end of the game a lot of first team players were there, which I think is brilliant, that they come and support the younger players and other first team players that are playing. But I made sure they came in the changing room at the end of the game to kind of show what winning means and how important it is to win football matches. I thought the team, in terms of attitude, character, desire, was unbelievable. There was moments in the second half where Brentford dominated, but we stood up to that. We made sure we got a clean sheet. We hung in the game when we needed to. I thought when the young players came on, their enthusiasm kind of picked the team up at a time that they needed it. Scored a brilliant goal from a set piece, Tom Dean delivery, and Luca, fantastic header. So yeah, I was really pleased with so many aspects of that game, and I mentioned it again today and said it's important that we use that victory and we use that momentum from the game to carry that into Saturday.
You mentioned the importance of getting that kind of winning feeling back, but how important is it for individual players to get match fitness into them?
Yeah, that's really important. I think when we play these games, they're important from a individual aspect. So every individual had probably different objectives and goals within that game. But I still think it's important to win. I still think it's important that the club, whenever you're wearing an Exeter City badge, you have a winning mentality, and we understand why we win games of football. And Tuesday night it was a great example of that even when you're not on top, even when you're maybe not playing well, you can show certain behaviours that allow you to win a game of football, and I thought we did that extremely well.
Obviously last weekend we come off the back of a really narrow 1-0 loss to Huddersfield at home. How have you and the team used this week to get over that and prepare for next weekend?
I think, as we always do, I don't think we really change a great deal, win, lose or draw. I think it's important that we have a similar process. The players understand that. Obviously there's a disappointment when you lose a game, but I think the key is you have to understand why you've lost the game, what things you could do better, what things you're actually doing well within the game. I thought we actually created some good chances in the game. I thought we started the game really well, fast on the front foot. I think we have to learn when we don't score in that period, it can't affect us as much as it did. We have to keep going, and we have to keep believing in the things that were actually getting us joy in the first 15-20 minutes of the game. And yeah, we have to, like I said, there's certain things that we're not doing particularly well that are costing us in the big moments. The biggest thing from last week, I think, would be when we win the ball back, how we look after the ball, how we play away from pressure and try and get some control in the game. We didn't do that very well, and quite often when we won the ball back, we lost it quickly. So we're very clear on what we need to do. I think another thing that really will help us is players getting fitness and building fitness. So to touch on the game on Tuesday, some players got minutes that allow them to get more minutes on Saturday. Sweens, Rees, Jake Doyle-Hayes all had to come off on Saturday, and when you go into a League One game, we need as many players fit and able to play 90 minutes as we can, and if we have that creates more competition and will give us more chance of winning.
You talked about the players that you took off during last weekend's game. Is that something that's throughout this week you're planning on giving them more time against Lincoln, or is it something that you're just going to kind of have to play by ear and see what happens?
Yeah, so that's something we will look at in terms of their training loads this week, what they did last week, and how much game time we can get them. Hopefully those players that had to come off, I kind of pushed the boundary right to the very limit, because I thought they were playing well. I thought we were playing well in the game, but every minute that I leave them on over what they should be playing is taking a risk that they might re-injure and then they're out for longer. So we got them off. They've all trained this week. Jake Doyle-Hayes has had a slight problem today, but will hopefully train tomorrow, and then we'll see what their minutes are. We'll discuss it with Sports Science and be clear on what their plan is, but hopefully most of the players can be 90-minute players on Saturday.
We face Lincoln this Saturday. What are your early impressions from them as a team?
Yeah, I think they've built on what they've done over a number of years now. They're a very strong League One team. I think they have a fantastic manager, a clear identity. I think they've invested over the years to improve the squad and the competition, and yeah, they look a really strong team this year. So we know whenever we go there it's a difficult game, but at this moment in time they're playing well. They're top of the league, or up the top of the league, and yeah, we know it's going to be tough. So we have to be prepared for that. But as I always say, we have to be prepared to be ourselves. We have to be brave. I thought last year our game plan, how we went about the game, was excellent. We should have won the game bar a refereeing decision, so we need those things to go right. We need a strong referee, because it's a stadium that's intimidating, and they try and get after you and use the crowd to affect the referee. So if we get that like we should have got last year, then I'm sure we can go and win the game.
You mentioned last year's games, they went down as 2-0 draws, but is there anything from those games that you can bring into this weekend?
One was a 1-0 win if the referee made the right decisions. Yeah, like I said, they are tight games. They've always been tight games. I think both teams, whilst we have probably different styles, I think it kind of cancels each other out a little bit. But I thought last year how we approached the away game in particular, because we lost the previous season there, I thought was very good, and we have to be clear again how we're going to go there and what we need to do to win.
Looking into October, we've got more games, some difficult, some less so. Where are you hoping the team to be at by this time next month?
Yeah, I don't think any game is easier or harder in League One. I think every game is different. It's a different challenge. We have 3 games of the second block to go. We haven't won a game in the block yet. We still, if we can win all 3 games, it will put us in a really good position. So we still have that belief and that mentality that we can go and do that. But it's focusing on everything on the next game, which is Lincoln. And once we get to the end of the block, we'll kind of assess where we are and where we're going as a team to move into the next block. That's why we decided to make up the blocks this year, so we don't get in a rut of just trying to win the next game. We have 3 games left. We know what we need to do within those games to win the minimum amount of points we need and the maximum, and we'll try and go and do that.
It was announced this morning that Josh McGuinness has been called up to the Northern Ireland team. How do you react to that as a manager? Because obviously you might be proud for him, but it's also a loss for the first team.
I'm delighted for him. I think any time a player gets called up for their country, it means they're playing well for their club, and it's a huge honour for them, so I'm really happy for him. I've said it many times, I think the league should have a break across the board, like they do in the Champ, like they do in the Premier League, because of the amount of international players we have now at League One level. And if we have to play the game, we've done it before, so we'll do it again. But we're waiting on Reading, what they have. But like I said, we're used to this. We had 3 players once and we had to play a game, even though that's the right amount. We were 12 and a half hours, I think, outside the window of kind of cancelling the game. So we know that is the rules. I think the rules should change, but we're ready to play the game regardless of what happens in the next few days.
The fans have been really good this season. How important is it for them and for the team to be together again at Lincoln? How good is it to have a few hundred fans behind the team backing them? Yeah,
look, they've been amazing. I thought on Saturday they were brilliant, and I know I criticised them a few weeks ago at Port Vale at half time, but I thought the reaction half time, full time on Saturday was first class. They got behind the team, they seen the team was giving everything, and we asked them to do that again. Everyone is doing as much as they can to make sure that we are ready to win games and give them what they want and what they pay their money for. And like I said, I thought on Saturday the way they showed their support at the end of the game, even though we lost a game, was really powerful and really good for the players, that they can maintain that belief and confidence. Hopefully we get a lot of them up to Lincoln. I know how far and how difficult it is to travel, but whenever we've played there before, we get a great turnout. Hopefully we get the same again, and hopefully we can give them something to really get behind and go home happy.
Brilliant, thank you, Gary.
Thank you.